Hi, welcome to the Lisa Goodman Show. I have Jane Hanson today. She owns a communications company where she trains people all over the world how to communicate and how to be their best selves and present them their best selves. So I'm very excited to interview her today. She's been in the television business for 3 decades, so she really knows what it's like to be on television, to present yourself in the best light, as well as we're going to talk about how, she got up at those 3 a.m. callings that seem torturous to me, and how she kept herself healthy and really energized and mentally alert, because that's a hard business. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I love all the stuff you do, especially with the cleanses and the smoothies and the drinks, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really good that you're providing such fabulous information for people, which is what, life is all about.
It is so fun to be able to do what I love, and the passion, and it comes from a very heartfelt, soulful place, which I think most of my life I haven't really come from that place. It's been work, 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 and sort of in a mode of not really feeling the work, not really, attracting love and connection with the work. So
well, that's true. And one of the things that I always preach in all of my work now is passion sells, because we're all about being authentic. We're all about being who we are. In life, when you communicate, the best communication is really just a conversation between 2 people, or even if it's you on a stage with 100 people or 1 million people watching on television, whatever it is, it's still just at its core a conversation. And you are going to have a conversation about the things you believe in, if you're not authentic, it will never work. So you have to let your passion go. I sometimes hear people who are like the CEO of a major corporation or the chairman of a board, and they'll say, if I get too passionate, I'm afraid I'll sound stupid. And I'll say, honestly, you sound stupid if you're not passionate. Why are you doing what you're doing if you don't care about it?
Right. True, because that passion or that heartfulness really comes through, and people are attracted to that. Or the vulnerability of somebody, or just being, like you said, authentic is the perfect word.
It is.
And how do you teach people to be authentic?
Well, sometimes I feel like a shrink. Let me tell you. A lot of people, there's a wonderful old joke that Jerry Seinfeld likes to tell, which is that people fear public speaking more than they do death.
Yes. So
if somebody's going to give a eulogy, frequently they wish they were the person in the casket versus the people doing the speaking. So we have a great fear of it, and I happen to love it, but I didn't always love it. I had to teach myself, and television, of course, helped.
Right.
Even though there are a lot of people on TV who do not like to speak in front of live crowds because it's 2 different ball games.
Right.
But I
think like both.
I love both.
You're both. Okay.
I love both. I think the immediate. I think the immediate problem that we all have is that we're afraid we're going to be judged, and that we're not going to be judged in a good way, and so we become very fearful of it. And I'm just here to say, you got to knock that away and focus on what's your purpose. Why am I here? What do I want these people to walk out the door with? Right. And obviously you're there because you've got something to say that they don't. They're there to learn something from you. So never let that
be there.
Right. So never let that purpose leave your head. And if you focus on purpose, you will find that you do a much better job.
Wow. So tell me, how did you train yourself to get in, just feel really comfortable in front of the camera and feel comfortable public speaking?
Took a long time. It really did. I do believe that if you have it started for me because I wanted to be a journalist, and I wanted to tell stories. And that's what a journalist does. So for me, being out there and telling these stories was really what it was all about. And so I focused on telling the stories. And then along the way, I got to discover live television, which I love more than anything. And so I discovered that I could tell these stories in real time and interview people in real time. And that became fun. Honestly, most of the time it's been fun, despite the tragedies and the horrible stories I've had to cover.
Yeah.
There's still this inborn curiosity I have to get to the truth, and this idea of telling people's stories to the rest of the world, because otherwise they wouldn't hear about those stories.
Right.
And maybe those stories inform, maybe they enlighten, maybe what they're really doing is giving them help in some way. Maybe they're changing their lives by what they're seeing or hearing. So that makes you feel really good inside when you do that.
It does. That's a beautiful gift. Mm-hmm. And how did you, all those years, 3 decades of being on television, how did you take care of yourself in order to be present to tell the stories?
I'm not so sure I did.
In a beautiful way.
So when I used to get up, my alarm clock rang at 3:20 every morning.
Ooh, girl.
And this was in New York at NBC, and a car would pick me up at 3:30. I took a shower, wet hair, walked out the door, dressed in a pair of jeans and a sweater.
Right.
And I would, change into clothes at the office. And once I got there, somebody did my hair, somebody did, put the makeup on. I studied up on the show, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was an hour and a half of very intense preparation.
What time did you go to bed?
Usually around 8 or 8:30 at night.
All right.
But I took a nap every day. Those kinds of naps where you're literally drooling.
Out cold.
You wake up and you're like, and I can't do that today.
Right.
I can't take a nap today.
Right.
But naps were important. But my problem was I had to make a choice some days between a nap or the gym.
Okay.
And guess what won?
The nap.
The nap.
That was an easy one.
Yeah, because there's just, and I was raising a daughter, and a family, and had a home, and so there was so much, as women always do, we try to balance everything. Mm-hmm. So that became hard at times.
Right.
So the thing that I gave up more than I should have was some of the stuff at the gym, and I probably didn't eat as well as I could. Because think about when you're eating.
Yes.
If you're getting up at 3:20 in the morning, that means you're having breakfast at 5 o'clock or something,
yeah.
And then you're having lunch
coffee?
at 10.
Coffee to wake up. And
way too much coffee.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to have a stomach left. Mm-hmm. And then, so you're eating at really weird times.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's hard.
yeah.
And did you feel like energetically, how did you keep yourself mentally alert? The coffee I'm sure helped, but any other things?
I think it was just the work part,
Yeah.
because you get excited about
passion about
work.
what you were doing.
Yeah, that really
Right.
helped.
Right.
So that was great.
So now, how are you keeping yourself?
Now
healthy?
I've got a pretty good regimen. I go to the gym around 6 o'clock every morning because I still wake up early.
Okay.
Not quite at 3:20, but I wake up early.
So because of that 3:20, your clock has always
My
been...
clock is still messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So I'm usually at the gym between 6 and 6:30. I work out for an hour.
Okay.
And then I will get to work on my computer for a couple of hours, and then I go out and do my trainings or whatever I have to do.
Right.
But I try to be diligent, and I try to keep to a schedule much more than I ever have.
Right.
Doesn't work, but I try.
You try. I mean,
try.
At least you try. But
one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, as I'm getting older, your women's bodies change, particularly when they go through menopause. Mm-hmm. And you start to get all this fat around your middle. Mm-hmm. And I know really skinny women that have it and really fat women that have it. It's just there. So what's your best recommendation to ditch that?
to ditch that fat.
Yep.
So really what's been really successful lately is intermittent fasting, because intermittent fasting really allows the body, there's a 14, 16-hour window that you wait to actually have a meal, that it allows the body to really, the digestive system to calm down and digest everything in the body, as well as the cells get to regenerate, rejuvenate. Mm-hmm. So it is a great way to really also rev up the metabolism. Even you were saying, I know the skinny girls still have that, but there is extra fat, yes, that we are carrying around. And this way, that intermittent fasting really does work for that. Mm-hmm. It's very fascinating because we don't really give ourselves time to rest and digest and reset. And cells need that, and tissue needs that, and every part of and all the organs need that. So we're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and too much food and snacks in between. And when we give our body that time to reset, and just either, I do quasi-intermittent fasting where I drink water and a green juice, but I don't put fruit. So in this intermittent fasting, there's no sugar or carbs. Uh-huh. And I have coffee with collagen powder. That's the new hot thing. I know. You don't even taste it. Collagen powder rebuilds tissue, and it's very great for rebuilding the gut.
Where do you find that?
Yeah, well, it's very popular these days. You can get it at Whole Foods,
really?
Amazon, yeah.
Okay, now I've learned something
Right.
already.
Collagen
This has been
powder
useful.
right, totally. It's great also for that
Yeah.
little extra fat. And for our anti-aging, which we all are striving for.
Right.
So I give my body that 16 hours. And then at like noon or 1, I'll have my first meal.
Okay.
And
so meaning that when you go to bed at night, you don't have anything until
I don't eat, food or sugar or carb related until noon or 1. So yeah, so if I finish at 8.
It's so interesting because I know several women who have lost a lot of weight recently on a diet whereby they eat every 2.5 hours. I'm sure you're familiar with this diet.
Yes.
Which is complete, and they'd say reset your metabolism. That's what they tell me.
Right.
But you're saying the opposite probably is true.
Intermittent fasting is not for everyone, but it really has shown, there's a lot of scientific research behind it, and it's been around for a long time because in our ancestor years, we didn't get up and have eggs and avocado toast, did we?
No, we should have, but yum.
We went out and foraged for our food, so we ate later. And that is really sort of what it's all about. It's kind of going back to more of an ancestral time where we were healthier. We didn't have all these diseases. We didn't have all this extra fat that we're carrying around. So it resets your hormones as well, the intermittent fasting. The every 2 to 3 hours works for people as well, but you just have to make sure you're eating within a limited amount of food, not calories. I don't love that, but just, if you have chronic fatigue or adrenal issues or blood sugar issues, intermittent fasting might not be for you because you go too long and your blood sugar crashes.
Right. No, I don't have a problem with that, so I'm going to try this.
Different strokes for
different
folks.
But how often do you do it?
Well, I've kind of I live it. Which is not probably the best for me because I don't need to lose weight because you can really maintain your weight and it does help lose weight. But yes, so a lot of times people do it 5 days a week. They take 2 days off. There's all kinds of every other day. There's it just depends on what feels right for you.
Right.
Everybody's different.
Interesting.
But you a little bit get hooked because in the morning you're light and energized, and if you are having like a green juice that has lots of nutrients and vitamins and minerals, and also it's a blood tonic, and then you have your coffee that energizes you with the collagen powder, which is amino acids, which is protein, it satiates you. So you're sort of,
you're good to go until 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, I'm getting collagen powder. In fact, let's go.
Over to Erewhon and pick you up some
let's just go get some right now.
We'll do it. I'll instruct you on exactly what you need to do. It actually is a very fun way to eat because I think that we just eat way too much and we're loaded down with food.
Have you looked at portions of plates? And,
I know.
And I mean, I was just in Europe and the plate, there's tiny little pieces.
Right,
you come here and the plate is this big and you can eat one tiny bit of it. And
I know. And we've been taught we've got to like eat and eat and eat, but we don't. We just eat when we're hungry. We eat when we're really need it, when we need the energy, or we're just overdoing everything.
Yep.
So, and I feel like we're overdoing the animal protein these days, even though I do have some, and I'm a believer in animal protein, but that concentrated saturated fat is not good for us. Our body can't break it down. And we're not eating enough vegetables and, nutrients, getting them at a cellular level. So, so giving your body a bit of a break is always a good thing.
I'm going to try it and I shall report back.
Okay.
And we'll see if
we'll do a
middle
follow-up.
goes away because I would love it.
So I'm curious also, what do you see, and the people that you teach and train, what are some of the things that you see across the board? Is there a standard of what people don't do right?
Yes. I could probably give you 3 things right off the top of my head. The first one is they never think about who their audience is. They'll have a message, whatever that message is, and they'll deliver it exactly the same to a group of kids as they would to a group of adults, as they would to affluent people, as they would to people who don't have a lot of money.
Right.
I mean, it's or whatever it is, educated, different, whatever they're, different cultures, etc. So people may have a really great message, but they don't remember that they've got to deliver to a certain group of people in a way that they're going to accept it and that it will resonate. That's number one. Number 2, people are so fearful, and they got to get rid of the fear. They're really
a tough one.
Yeah, but it's easy. And one really quick trick
is
to breathe.
Oh, Good.
And
I
so
don't know
I
how
do
much
this.
I've breathed this whole interview.
Yeah, well, it's really simple. You breathe in for 3 counts, you hold it for 3 counts, you breathe out for 3 counts, you do it 3 times. Does a
is
lot
pretty
of
simple.
wonderful things. It gets your diaphragm so it's very full. It means your voice gets a little bit deeper, which is really great for women because we're more credible when our voice is deeper. And it also just relaxes us.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it works.
I love it.
My colleague that I do a lot of work with has done work with the Navy SEALs, and they do this before they go into combat.
Okay.
Before they go on a
So if
mission.
they do
So
it-
if the SEALs can do it,
Yes.
we can
do it. That's great advice. Yeah. And what makes somebody an amazing speaker in your eyes?
Being authentic. Telling their story
Yeah.
with passion and with truth.
Well, I ask all my guests at the end if they had to sum up their mission in one word, what would yours be?
Be authentic.
I love it. Nice to see you.
You too. Thank you so much.
I'm so grateful that I have you in my life now.
Me too. Ditto. Back at you.
Thank you, Jane.